Just had a major frames glitch. Need to start saving money to invest in a desktop. All right. I'm totally grateful for your practice, and I am hoping that this video vlog reaches you in good health and security. Thank you for your practice. Thank you for liking and subscribing. Not for me, but for all of us, because it helps the algorithm in YouTube make this resource with not just this channel and these videos, but the knowledge, the resource of the website, which is all free, the bookstore, the mandala store, all of it becomes much more, raises up in the algorithm of results when people are looking for Nichiren or Buddhism. We want them to practice correctly, enjoy this resource, expand our Sangha of influence, because we need to do something about this world. There's too much focus on anger and division and war and just, right? Too much in the world. How do you transcribe that? All right, entertaining myself again. You know those moments when we study, maybe you're listening to a vlog, maybe you're reading something, you hear something from a different perspective or in a different way, and something just clinks. You go, oh, I know, I've heard this 1,000 times, but now hearing it this way, you know, as I'm doing this or whatever, oh, suddenly I get it. Wait a minute. Does that mean, oh, crap, I've been missing this oh, now I know, right? You hear me always talking about the aha moment. That, what? I think, wait, did I get that? Let me read that again. Holy my. Oh, that opens my, oh. Right? Those moments. We have words for it, like insight or aha or epiphany. But all those words, they just kind of, I don't know, maybe they're just old. Maybe we just don't, well, Shakyamuni came up with a word for it. And it may surprise you what that word is. You ready? RenGe. That's what that word means when we instantiate it. RenGe. Turn the light on in that dark attic of samsara. Click. See, it's an invocation of Buddha-ness. Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Click. I get it. That's what RenGe means. It's a word created to label that, specifically that. Click, that switch from samsara, all this stuff to do, time management, to, oh, time. Here we are in time, moment. Suddenly, I see it. That's RenGe, my friends. One of the reasons Daimoku is the absolute essence of our practice. But how do you appreciate that essence? How do you know that essence? How do you know what even to look for? That's why study. That's why also recitation. Gangyo is study. Recitation is an homage we're paying to the teaching. So your highest form of study is Gongyo. So yeah, the two. Aha! Oh, right. This is what I'm seeing. This is how to understand what I'm seeing. Gongyo. So the two are vital. And I wasn't going to do this because I want to honor your question. You emailed me. I was going to, and I am going to respond to your email. But this is such a common struggle in our practice. I'm going to talk about it in this video before we start here. And I'll try to be brief. I know, that's right. How do I make time for my practice? I mean, I always wait till the 5th snooze before I get out of bed to go to work. How am I going to make time for at least a half hour of chanting and a full Gongyo? Come on. Some days, can I just skip it or just do the Daimoku? Well, you know the standard answer, right? Focus your practice to create more time for yourself. So that almost becomes like a nag. Chant for more time. So I'm not going to do that. I said it, but I'm not going to do that. The point I want to make with you, because we always struggle with this. This is samsara. This is time management. And time, it's a real thing. So I'm not poo-pooing it. I just want to make sure you value both aspects of the practice equally, and you just don't take it for granted. Because when we find what is essentially shortcuts, we tend to make those the habit. We have to remember we need to get back to the fundamentals as best we can. But there are times in samsara where what's the least diminishment that we can tolerate? Absolutely, you must chant. You must do the Daimoku. It's the energy of life, right? But sometimes, and this is what exhorted me early on to really learn the recitation, right? The 5 repetitions of the recitation of the 2nd and 16th chapter, Gongyo, and the meditations quickly. And it took me an hour and a half to do Gongyo early on, and I brought that down to half that time just by articulating and doing Gongyo quickly. And then I found that, and you may have found this too, that the faster you go, and I've talked about this too, we have to savor our practice, really be in it. Because if you're just trying to chant, what are you doing? You're not even in it anymore. You're just doing it for what? A badge? No. Say Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Namu Myo. Catch yourself. Every 30 Daimoku, make sure you're saying Kyo and not Ya. Right? Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. Right? That ho disappears real quick as you're trying to hurry. I'd rather that you did 30 minutes of 100 Daimoku instead of 30 minutes of 1,000,000 Daimoku. Because that 100 going to be much more sincere, valuable, and RenGe. Boop. Yeah? Same goes for Gongyo. I would rather, and I'm not condoning this as a consistent practice. So I wrestle with even saying it. But time constraints being what they are, you can, and they do this all over the world, take your time and enunciate. If you're willing to do that, it will shave time off. It may not. But see how effective your practice is, how your day goes after a Gongyo, where you recite the whole book once. Not A and C. That's not an abbreviated Gongyo. That's skipping. But do A, B, and C once. And then with a Hiki Daimoku, do each of the 5 meditations. That will reduce the repetition and the time. Just promise me you will enunciate clearly, just like Namu Myoho Renge Kyo, Ho Ben Pondai Ni Ni Ji Se San Ju San Mai, right? Not because you're trying to get through it. I would rather hear you enunciate clearly and read through the 3 sections once and do the 5 meditations and then go do what you got to do, rather than racing through repeating the book 5 times. Where's the value in that? Now, as your life condition raises, recognize your laziness, because we all have it. When you find yourself with more time, and instead of sitting and watching The Price is Right and eating Oreos, you go, I could do a full Gongyo with this time. Please remind yourself that that is the complete practice. Yeah? Please recognize when you have the benefit of excess time for leisure, that it would be far more valuable to spend that time enlightened. So never forget, yeah? The habits, we fall into them so easily. So please hear me when I say this, because I don't want to be guilty of being the one who says, here's a shortcut. You don't need to practice so hard. There are times when you need, in our time management, to not leave behind, not avoid Gongyo altogether because just don't have time. Don't do that. Rather, an option, savor your Daimoku and savor once through the book and then get going. Do you see what I'm saying? Even from time to time, throw that in. Because if we don't have variation as humans, we become habitual animals and we lose value for what we're doing. So with that mind, with that ichinen, you can reduce your time so that you can become better managers of time in samsara. But the practice should not suffer for it. That's putting the cart before the horse. If you want your life to run better with easier time management, your practice is what will get you there, not your cleverness about how to manage time. I know it's tempting, because it's like falling off a horse, just getting wrapped up in the time management thing. But please know that your life condition comes from Buddha-ness, just as the entire universe does. And if things aren't working, something needs to change karmically. So, and the only thing that's going to change that is not your cleverness, the practice. Does that make sense? Okay, so I gave you a way that you can shift your time management of your practice a little bit without losing your rhythm of practice, of life condition. because sometimes you just need to, right? But always, always come back. Don't get lost in the samsaric minutia, okay? Namo Myoho Renge Kyo. Question. The great teacher Tendai has explained that the term Myoho Renge is used in two different senses. One meaning the entity of Myoho Renge Kyo, or Myoho Renge, sorry, and the other being figurative in meaning, which is the one generally we get stuck talking about because figuration is samsara, identification, right? But that's just a path in, expedient means. Let's see what he means. What are these two kinds of RenGe or Lotus? Oh, we went from Myoho Renge to just RenGe. How interesting. Answer. The figurative RenGe or Lotus, as we translate it, we use the lotus, the figurative picture of the lotus, as a visual symbolism of this process, but we tend to forget when we talk about that what we're actually talking about, that aha moment, RenGe. So let's hear what he says here. The figurative RenGe or lotus is explained in detail in the three metaphors of the lotus blossom enfolding the seed, right? We've all heard it. The lotus blossom opening to reveal the seed inside, and the lotus blossom falling and the seed ripening, so one should refer to them. Right? The lotus spreads its seed, future moments, at the same time as it blossoms. Cause, effect, all of those analogies, they're all figurative, right? The lotus that is the entity of Myoho Renge is explained in the 7th volume of the Profound Meaning of the Lotus Sutra as follows. That's a Tendai work, right? Quote, RenGe, or lotus, is not a symbol. What? First time you heard that? RenGe is not a symbol. It is the actual name of the entity. Entity is some manifestation from potential. Entity. Click. Aha. For example, at the beginning of the Kalpa of continuance, the various things in the world had no names. Right? The universe existed. It didn't need names in order to exist. Names came later, right? The sage observed the principles that governed them, and on that basis made up a name for them, or names for them. He also writes, quote, now the name RenGe is not intended as a symbol for anything. It is the teaching expounded in the Lotus Sutra. Aha. Remember Nichiren's been saying all along, or before Nichiren, Shakyamuni. Memorize, repeat, recite, and share a single gatha, a single 4-line phrase, or a sentence, or a word, or the title of Myoho Renge Kyo. That constitutes the practice in its entirety. All 69,384 characters of the Lotus Sutra. How many times have we read that? Well, here we're coming at it from another. This is what RenGe means, is that encapsulating of that entire Dharma teaching and getting it. Oh, I get it. RenGe. The teaching expounded in the Lotus Sutra is pure and undefiled and explains the subtleties of cause and effect. Therefore, it is called RenGe, or the wonderful teaching of the wonderful lotus, that moment of enlightenment. RenGe. Oh, I always thought that was just a flower thrown in there for something interesting to say. No, it is enlightenment itself. It is that moment of enlightenment. Wow. What a different meaning, yeah? This name designates the true entity that the meditation based on the Lotus Sutra reveals. Buddha-ness. RenGe is Buddha-ness? I never knew that. Why would you? There's so many groups and sects out there that just don't want you to know that. They just want you to perform habit. They don't want you to get that insight. Why? Why would they do that? Keep it for themselves? What's going on? Tendai knew it. And it is not a metaphor or a figurative term. We talk about it to give us real-world samsaric examples for our silly little attached minds to start to conceive of the concept. But that's not what it is. That's not what it is. That's a tool, an aid, an expedient means, but that ain't it. The great teacher Tendai also writes, question, does the term RenGe in fact mean the RenGe or lotus that is the essence of the meditation based on the Lotus Sutra, or does it in fact mean the ordinary lotus that is a species of plant? Answer, it is in fact refers to the lotus that is the essence of the Lotus Sutra. But because the essence of the Lotus Sutra is difficult to understand, the metaphor of the lotus plant is introduced. People of sharp faculties will hear the name and immediately grasp the principle. Click. They have no need to rely upon the metaphor, but can understand the Lotus Sutra directly. But people of intermediate or inferior perception will not understand immediately. Only through the medium of a metaphor will they be able to understand. It's a guidance toward thinking a certain way. Thus, the easily understood metaphor of an actual lotus plant is used to make clear the difficult to understand lotus that is the essence of the Lotus Sutra. What do you mean I invoke Buddha-ness? What do you mean that Namo Myoho Renge Kyo, boom, my perception, my entire understanding, experience of the world changes? I don't hard to understand, difficult to talk about. RenGe is what we're after. Not the flower. The idea that by our action, our invocation, our determined action to awaken our Buddha-ness, our mind of moment-to-moment complete experience, we actually achieve it with this practice, with this key to unlock that Gohonzon door. Boom, Buddha-ness. We might not understand Buddha-ness, but we should understand that that's what we're experiencing. And the more we experience it, the more it wipes clean the lenses of samsara so we can see more and more clearly. And by our actions, equally, without our brain, what we call our brain, our samsaric mind, getting hung up on every little thing we do, including time management, our Buddha-ness just clears the way. Our karma's changing. And we're left to observe, yes, left to observe in samsara with our samsaric mind, oh, things are different. Why are they different? Because they're different because your mind is different. Your karmic train is different. The influence of your thoughts, actions, deeds, and their reflection in your environment. Because that's the only time samsarically we really get it, is when we see it as a reflection in our environment, the way people respond to us, the way situations either no longer come up or avail themselves to us. Wow, I'm so lucky. No, you're not lucky. You're working hard to get your life to flow this easily, because it is. The only reason it isn't flowing easily for you is because you have karmic obstacles that are your delusions, your karmic delusions. And as those get exploded, life just becomes much greater. And you're saying, yeah, I've been practicing 40 years and I still have problems. Yeah, but your problems are not the same as they were 40 years ago. Right? That's just your greed. We all have it. Right? You go from eating crap to eating really good food. You get used to that good food. And then when that good food isn't prepared just right, shut up. Look at what you have. Right? We're so greedy. You want to understand greed? Look at a baby. Look at a 4-month-old. Look at all the stuff it's trying to shove in its mouth. Okay? That's who we are. Thus, in the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha employed 3 cycles of preaching in accordance with the perspective understanding of those of superior, intermediate, or inferior capacity. For people of superior capacity, the RenGe, or Lotus, that is the name of the law, was taught. But for people of intermediate or inferior capacity, the lotus was used as a metaphor or a symbol. See what we're trying to do here? Like the lotus flower, do you see how instantaneous that is? How that works? That's what we're trying to do. Oh, okay, I'm trying to be a flower and the seed. No. The instantaneous act, the instantiation act is what we're talking about here. What do you mean? I mean that aha moment, the clicking of the light in the attic. That by chanting Namo Myoho, by invoking this teaching, you are actually invoking the Buddha-ness in your mind. You are awakening now. You know, we have beautiful sunrises all over the planet, right? Slowly the light, the darkness starts to fade, the light starts to come up. And when the light's fully into the sky, our circadian rhythm, right? Our samsaric we start to awake. But what if we went from total darkness to total light in an instant? That'd be somewhat jarring, wouldn't it? Snooze wouldn't work. That's what we're doing with our mind. Like the attic analogy I use all the time, stumbling around. Oh, what the hell? Where's my, what's this? I don't remember that. Turn the light on, click. Oh, now I see everything. It's so easy. What I want's right there. Oh, don't turn the light off. Get out. Myoho RenGe. Aha. Namo Myoho RenGe. Kyo Dharma. Instant realization Dharma. As long as one understands that the word is being used both as a name for the law itself and as a metaphor, depending on which of the 3 groups of people is being addressed, then there should be no reason to argue over it. right? Some people need some coaxing to understand. This is just the condition of man, yeah? We live in a time, though, where even the least opportune, least whatever economic, socioeconomic status, whatever your condition, we all have the ability to go, click, I get it. Some of us get in more of our own way than others. That's the capacity thing, but we all have the full capacity. Where are we time-wise? Okay. Go a little bit further, okay? This passage of commentary means that the supreme principle, that is the wonderful and difficult to understand law, was originally without a name. When the sage was observing the principle and assigning names to all these facets, these things, he perceived that there is this wonderful single law, myoho, this amazing capacity that we have, that simultaneously possesses both cause and effect, RenGe, and he named it Myoho RenGe. This single law, that is Myoho RenGe, encompasses within it all the phenomena comprising the 10 worlds or realms, and the 3,000 worlds or realms, and is lacking in none of them. It's the complete instantiation of understanding, clarity, Buddhahood. Just like the light going on in the attic. Oh, I don't have to stumble over anything anymore. I better not put my foot there. Oh, there's the stuff I'm looking for. Everything becomes clear. Isn't that amazing? Light. Enlightenment. Enlightenment. This single law, that is Myoho RenGe, encompasses within it all the phenomena comprising the 10 worlds and 3,000 realms and is lacking in none of them. Anyone who practices this law will obtain both the cause and the effect of Buddhahood simultaneously. We invoke our Buddha mind with every Daimoku. This is why I say, don't Namo Myoho RenGe Kyo. This is what I'm doing now. I am present here, ready to click, turn on my complete awareness in this moment. Myoho, amazing, RenGe, I'm here, Kyo, the Dharma of this. It's actually one thing we're doing. See, it's not about the words. The words are provisional things to guide us to this click. The sage practiced with this law as his teacher and attained enlightenment, and therefore he simultaneously obtained both the wonderful and difficult to understand cause and the wonderful and difficult to understand effect of Buddhahood, becoming the thus come one of perfect enlightenment and fully realized virtues. Virtues because now we can take these qualities of clarity and apply them to samsara. Walk the earth course as a bodhisattva. This, to me, this was the Gosho that, in my stubborn mind, kicked me into enlightenment. Now I understand what I'm doing. This was it for me. All the other stuff, I understood it intellectually. Okay, that's what we're doing. But it seemed like some far-off thing that eventually would happen, right? But no, that's not Buddhism. Oh, so many years, I was doing it. Well, that was just my stubbornness. But when I read this Gosho, I thought, oh, crap. I really need to appreciate every single utterance of this method, this self-realization, this RenGe, this Namu, I'm okay, I'm ready, I'm here, I'm present. Let's do this amazing thing, Myo Ho, RenGe, Ho. Now I understand every Kyo, every single Daimoku. That's why it's the core of the practice, yeah? Why is it the core of the practice? Hoben chapter, right? Juryo chapter, reminders, conceptual reminders of where we're going and what it is that we've been missing all along, but it has been here. Let's just RenGe, yes? RenGe is the entire teaching. When that came to my mind, I was floored, quite honestly. I'm still floored by it. What an amazing insight. Thank you, Shakyamuni. Thank you, Nichiren. Thank you, Tendai. These great scholars have been trying to get us to see this for thousands of years. Why is it taking so long? Okay, stop lamenting. Do it. Namo Myo Renge Kyo. Right? Thank you for listening. Thank you for doing this, emulating Nichiren. Thank you for liking and subscribing. If you haven't done it yet, please give this a thumbs up and subscribe, most importantly. And those of you who have the financial fortune to go to Patreon or PayPal and help support this effort, this entire Sangha is in your debt. Thank you so much. Take care of your health. Be kind to yourself. Enlighten today. Why wait? Sound like a commercial. Now how much would you pay? Now how much would you chant? Sorry. I hope you know my sense of humor is a little warped, but it comes from my heart, okay? Thank you. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now. Myo